apart? Does everything break your heart like it does me in the final scene? Does everything fall apart? Does everything break your heart? 1, 2, 3. I'm broke but I'm happy. I'm poor but I'm kind. I'm short but I'm healthy, yeah. Well, the Pride Festival of '09 was our first major show. It was the first real venue, or obviously we had never done a real show in any venue before this. So we were going from playing in a backyard essentially to going onto a huge stage in front of thousands and thousands of people. And it was very, for me personally, like I get very nervous doing what we do. It felt like every moment that we had been working on everything to that point sort of paid off. It was the first kind of payoff experience that we had. And, you know, to spend years working away and busting your ass on booking shows and writing the material and rehearsing the material, and then feeling most of the way along the way that nobody really cares and that nobody's really taking you very seriously, that definitely all felt worth it for the first time, I think, at that show, because we got up on that stage and you look out into the crowd and there's thousands of people, and a lot of them, their eyes are right at you and they want to hear what you're doing. I think perseverance was key for us because we went through a lot of changes. My dad passed away. There were some vacations in there. There were some hiatuses. There were some changing of people playing the people changing of members, rotating of members, a lot of that. And it was very, very difficult. And I think that we tried really hard to not lose sight of what we really wanted, which was ultimately to do an album. We're in hour number 5 of our third day of recording. Things are going well. We're setting up to do Come Back to Me. Kelly and Alita are in there working it out. I'm about to go lay scratch vocals. And so in a way we were kind of always aiming for an album, ultimately. That was something that we've always talked about, Chelsea and I, about wanting that to be, if we do nothing else, we will have our album at some point, come hell or high water. And I think that's what motivated us along the way, is that we knew we both had this shared goal and we both felt just as strongly about it, and we were going to do absolutely anything to make it happen. And so every single start and stop like that just sort of fueled that fire, I think, and fanned the flame, if you will. Look at what we did. And I think that, going into the studio that first day was like, oh my God, this is happening. This is totally happening right now. And we did it. And working through each of the songs, I felt like it was just, it was a process, and it was really something that I feel like built up to where at the end of the experience, it was just like, like we finally did it. We did it. We made it happen, and something that we were so proud of. We had so many experiences where we wanted to do something and we went for it and we did it, and it didn't turn out the way that we wanted, and finally we had this expectation to do this album exactly the way that we wanted. Everything was in place. We had somebody, incredible doing our album artwork, the placement of the tracks, the writing of the album, the narrowing down of the songs. Like, it all just really came together, and I think that we will both always look back on the making of this album as something really incredibly special, with a lot of really awesome people along the way. It's not your fault that 'cause you're pretty, and it's not
wanted to do a release show. We wanted it to be like an epic release show, you know, because we were so excited. This was like the payoff, this was like the party, this was the everything, you know.
The release show was something that in the studio when we were planning for the album and in the planning stages for the album itself, the release show was something that we always knew that we wanted to do, and it felt more attainable certainly when we were in the studio, and even the day we were done in the studio, it felt very attainable. And then we went through a pretty significant lineup change. We went from 3 to 2, and it is the most extreme lineup change we've ever gone through, if only even just from a numbers game.
It was like, oh, okay, now we're pretty good on our feet. I feel like we've made it this far and we've done all these crazy things, difficult things, and overcome so many hard things. And being a band, we both at one point were like, we're not gonna be able to do it. We're not gonna be able to do it now. Like, it's just the two of us, you know, like what are we gonna do?
So it immediately presented a hurdle for us, if only from logistics.
Fortunately, we had some really, again, incredible people. Everybody that was on the album came and did the release show with us.
And that alone was this huge, okay, maybe we can do it again, you know? Like, this is a real thing that we can probably make happen.
You know, like, we had people in Toledo, and they ended up showing up and just making the whole thing just a really, really magical, explosive night for us, so we're thankful for that.
The way that we treated all of the preparation for the release show specifically was we really did treat it like a canvas. And we said, just the way that we did in the studio, we said, like, what are the flavors, what are the textures, what are the things that we want to put on this canvas, and what do we want people's shared experience to be?
Walking out onto the stage, like, it sort of felt like a movie, you know? It sort of felt like a movie. And we had this screen behind us that we spent hours working on and putting together video footage so the video footage would match each song. It's all timed perfectly. Like, I wanted it to be, and we wanted it to be super epic. I wanted to show everybody that, like, you know what, no matter how hard it gets, you know, I feel like we are a testament to the fact that you, as musicians, if you love it enough, if you want it enough, you are willing to work hard, it can be done. It can be done. And it was an awesome night. It was a great day, great night. So one of the you know, milestones of my life, I'd say.
Everything that we did felt so right, you know? There weren't, from our vantage point, everything sounded great, and we could feel the energy of the people in the room, and they were with us, and they got up, they were dancing. I mean, it was incredible. It was definitely, I think, one of the most special moments I've ever had in my life, and I think it's the most accomplished I've ever felt to this point.
Must be nice to hold the world in the palm of your hand. But don't lie, I'm still your biggest fan. You guys, it's so hot up here.